welcome to Let's Talk Assassin's Creed, your number one podcast for all things Assassin's Creed.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to episode 137 of Let's Talk Assassin's Creed. We weren't planning to record today. It's Tuesday, the 14th of June. But today, 3 hours ago, Ubisoft released a short 15th anniversary announcement video for the Assassin's Creed franchise. And we thought we should get together and discuss what was shown and what our reactions are. And to help us with this, we are joined by a special guest, a voice you will have heard many times before. Louise, welcome.
Buonasera.
Buonasera. Well, Declan, where should we begin?
Can we talk about the thing that I'm most excited about?
Absolutely.
The first thing that was technically announced. The free game mode.
You're going right into the juicy stuff. So, yes, they announced, not exactly, I don't actually remember when it will be released, but later this year, there will be a new game mode called The Forgotten Saga. And it was described as a roguelite game mode. Now, I'm going to be honest with both of you and anyone listening. I had no idea what that meant. But thank you to Jodie on the AC Sisterhood Discord, who spent ages explaining what it meant, so that now I am educated. But anyway, Declan, what is it? Tell us more.
So, even I barely know roguelites, but it's basically you do the mission, you die, you go back to the start, you repeat, and stuff changes. It's
basically a dungeon crawl, like in D&D. Have either of you two played Hades?
Yes, I love Hades. That's why I'm excited for
That's
this.
That's a roguelite. That's a roguelite. That's what this game mode basically is going to be.
Oh, okay.
See,
Depending on if we keep resources will depend if it's a roguelike or a roguelite with a T. Because the original Rogue, which is the basis for the kind of like the subgenre, didn't let you keep resources. While in Hades you can do, so it's a roguelite? Question mark? But yeah, if we can keep resources, you can keep it back. It is. But yeah, I'm very excited.
I'm excited. But what's more exciting isn't the new game mode, isn't the title, it isn't the setting. It's they finally done us justice and introduced one of the most important characters in the Isu franchise. Loki's daughter. Hel is finally, and she is one of the most vital people in the story, because Hel is the one who leads an army of Muspelheims against the Isu, the Aesir, in Ragnarok. It's her and Loki that started the Isu civil war against the Aesir, and if anyone asks me, I'm not being rude, but Dawn of Ragnarok is great story, but the true Ragnarok has to be, in my eyes, canonically, a civil war with the Isu. And that means Hel and Loki led the civil war. And I'm going to get a lot of stick for that. But what story do you think it will tell? That's the question. Like, why is it Nelfheim? That's the land of the dead.
Well,
At the risk of being sarcastic, because it sounds cool. But I'm come on, you two are the Norse myth people here. You tell me.
Well, Ragnarok started. Well, it's this thing that's prophesied to be the end of the world. That was basically Loki's fault. That's, the world collapses around you. I think it's like 7 years of drought followed by 7 years of flooding. The horns sounding, which is why there's that track on the soundtrack. And then you've got all the heroes from Asgard, what is it? Valhalla, and Freya's Hall equivalent for like the Shield Maidens and stuff like that, coming to fight and defend the world, but it will be over and over again until like a few gods are left, and then the world is rebuilt basically, which like this whole Ouroboros kind of thing, that it is a constant cycle. So having a roguelike structure to it kind of makes sense.
I think my only concern, truthfully, is, as I've explained before, the true Dawn of Ragnarok story should have actually been the Isu Civil War before the fall for the Toba catastrophe, because that's the most logical when they fight when the Aesir fight the Muspelheims, and at the end of the world it is Odin is killed by Fenrir, Thor is killed by Jormungandr, and Loki is killed by Heimdall, and then their children, watch over afterwards, and Balder comes back, and the humans come out of the Yggdrasil roots. That should have been the Dawn of Ragnarok story, because that ties neatly into the Toby catastrophe. But from Andy Reload's video where he looked at some of the leaked data, it mentions he's going to Nilfheim to rescue Balder, who's dead, which contradicts Dawn of Ragnarok because Balder's soul is in that Apple device. So it's contradicting, but also trying to follow Norse myth, where they do send a Aesir to go to Nilfheim to bargain with Hel for Balder's soul, but she says only if everyone weeps for him, and Loki just was like, nah, I'm not weeping. So I'm concerned with the story, though.
Go on.
I'm trying to think what else about to say. My mind went blank.
It's been a long day. It's fine.
It is. I think I'm just trying to work it, because at the end of Ragnarok, and I'm not trying to spoil the DLC, but it's been out for a while. In the very end, he talks about, like, you started Ragnarok. Odin, this is your fault, which is kind of true. He's a dick, not to be rude.
Yeah.
But he hands over that orb, which I'm going to say is like a pseudo Apple of Eden, to
Salakar,
yeah? It's like a little apple-looking thing. It's like a ball, and it's got loads of souls in it already, and it's meant to have Balder's soul in it. So, and then it says, like, Odin's going back to Nilfheim in the trailer, and I'm like, I'm confused. Why does Hel keep casting Odin out of Hell, and what's he going to Hell for? Because Balder's soul's already gone. It's with Juno. So, what's going on? Like, are they contradicting the DLC story?
They don't need to. I'll tell you, no, okay. Again, I'm being a little bit flippant, but just for a moment, they can just explain everything away as Avil drinks another mushroom tea.
Damn it,
And
Valka.
None of it's real, and Valka's whipped up a new, even stronger mixture, and it's just, she drinks the tea, she goes into this battle mode, and then she wakes up, and then she drinks tea again and goes back in. And it has no consequence and no mythological or lore, what's the right word, impact at all. That is entirely an option for them.
No character development for Avil Witch.
Hold that thought, we're coming to that.
On James's point then, wouldn't that be the best way? Like, tie it to technically the Mastery Challenge, because the Mastery Challenge is all about Odin, because I haven't really completed the second one. I am going to re-download it to complete the next lot. But after the first one, you get to the story, you find Odin's artifact. So just connect it to that side, and then don't connect it to the lore set in the DLC. I wouldn't mind for that. As long as I'm not scratching my head about what's going on, I don't mind to waving it off as just a side detail for Odin. He's a douchebag anyways at times, especially in the mythology.
Absolutely. I'm going to be honest with you, I haven't finished the Mastery Challenges.
Yeah, neither have I.
Is there a story, really? Or is it just a game mode? I honestly don't know.
There is a story. I'm royally shouting everyone's name out tonight. I learned about it from Access the Animus.
Now, I promise you, if you're listening, Marco and Sari, I have watched all their videos, but I just don't remember what the story was when they did their lore analysis of the Mastery Challenges. And Hilderan, isn't it, who's the lady with the winged helmet that we speak to. But yeah, well, you're excited about the game mode. That's good. Just for balance, I'm going to give you the opposite opinion. I couldn't care less about this game mode. I will probably play it once just to see what it's like and then move on. What about you, Louise?
I'm kind of indifferent.
Mm-hmm.
There were other announcements tonight that I was way more excited for.
I'm
just like, it looks cool. Hell looks very pretty, I'm going to be honest.
Mm-hmm. The artwork is fantastic.
That was certainly an outfit.
Zombie
kind of
dragon.
the same reaction from when I saw Valka for the first time, I'll be honest. But nah, design very pretty. Plot not really calling me, to be honest.
Yeah,
But
it's
there's
just
a
not the sort of
zombie
game I want to
dragon.
play.
There's a zombie dragon.
It could only be
Maybe
better
watch
if there
Game
was a
of Thrones
werewolf.
for that.
But
Yeah.
there's a zombie. Look, I'm not bothered if this DLC, this game mode is canon.
Sorry,
People,
I know I shouldn't be laughing when you're trying to talk, but I can't help it.
but like, people need to understand this. I'm not bothered if it's canon. I'm not bothered if it's mushroom tea. I love punching dragons in games. I love fighting dragons. I've played Skyrim tons of times because I love fighting the dragons. It's just fun. I want to fight a dragon. I don't care if it's canon or not. I just want to fight a dragon. I'm
Gandalf.
simple. Yes, I am Gandalf. I will fight a dragon. I literally want to run to the dragon, do a stomp attack, and shout, "You shall not pass." Let me live a weird fantasy, even if it's not canon. I just want to punch a dragon. Yes, I'm a strange person. So
I look forward to you streaming it and getting to that final
I'm watching
dragon
that
boss
dragon
fight.
kick your ass.
Hang on a minute. Is it? Sorry, just to jump in there, but I was watching an Origins build guide a couple of days ago. There's a channel by a guy called T7PDM, and he does build guides for Odyssey, and he's just done a build guide for Origins, taking into the fact that we've got the new patch. We'll come to that in a minute. And he was, just to demonstrate the build, he was in the arena, which is that in Crocodilopolis, the arena, or is that the one in
Crocodilopolis? Yeah.
Right. Is this game mode just the arena? It's just waves of enemies and you keep fighting until you die. It's as simple as that, isn't it? Because that's how the arena
Potentially,
worked
but
in Origins.
quite a lot of roguelites have an ending. Like, it might take in Hades it's 50 rooms to get to, or it might take a certain amount of time that you have to die and get back to from the beginning, but they might have an ending. And it could also be like that, like you need to destroy so many waves of enemies to progress.
Okay, understood. I guess we'll see. So for you, Declan, you're definitely going to play it.
I'm re-downloading Valhalla because of it. So only literally, I'm just downloading
It's funny.
Valhalla.
Funny you mentioned re-downloading Valhalla. I uninstalled Valhalla, I don't know, a month ago. It's 110 gigs. I mean, I have got the space, but I don't play it. And I uninstalled it, and then I realised, and just to move seamlessly onto the next couple of quick news updates, there is something coming up which I do want to play because I enjoyed the first half of it, which is Tombs of the Fallen Part 2. Again, not clear on what the story is, but I found the puzzles enjoyable. Not particularly long, probably 20-30 minutes per tomb, but it was quite fun. Do you remember we streamed it a long time ago, the first part, and it'll be good to go back and do more of those simple puzzles. But that's something that was on the roadmap for the next 4 or 5 months of Valhalla content. So I made 3 bullet points here, which they were in the video. To be honest, some of this content is already out. So Mastery Challenges Part 2, that was released a couple of months ago.
Yeah.
The Armory was added last month, which gives loadout options, which is good. And then Tombs of the Fallen Part 2 coming soon. So with the new game mode, which is called the Forgotten Saga, that wraps up most of the new content for Valhalla. Before we move on to the final bit of Valhalla new content, have you two got any thoughts on Mastery Challenges, Armory, Tombs of the Fallen? Louise, you're our guest. What do you think?
I don't know. Not really.
Fair enough.
I'll be honest,
is a perfectly valid reaction.
Yeah, I'll be honest, haven't completed any of them. The last time I played Valhalla was the crossover with Cassandra.
Gotcha.
And then ran out of space, so I had to uninstall it afterwards. But yeah, I'm not overly enthusiastic. I'm due a replay of Valhalla recently. I'll be honest, because I just want to restart it. But just shrug emoji, I guess.
Yeah, that's fair enough. What about you, Declan? What are your thoughts on those 3 small updates to the game?
I didn't like mastery challenges because, truthfully, I can't play them. They're impossible for me. Because the problem I have in Valhalla is they painstakingly created every weapon to have a unique feel, which I highly respect them for it. But when you put into a mastery challenge where you are locked with a small hammer in your left hand and a shield in your right, which one of them does, I think, you then have to force yourself to relearn everything, and the hammer feels so much heavier in gameplay compared to a sword or a CX, which I use. And to me, I just could not get the muscle memory to change it because I just didn't like the animations or the weight of the feels of it. So doing them challenges like kill 20 enemies with a freaking hammer, I'm like, no, that's impossible for me. So I'm skipping Mastery Challenges Part 2 completely.
That's valid.
I mean, same mastery challenges. I won't bother. Tombs of the Fallen, I'll do them.
Yeah.
All right, so let's move on to the last piece of Valhalla content. Louise, you kind of hinted at this earlier, so take it away. What did we learn?
Yeah, so we learnt that at some point at the end of the year, dramatic music, there's going to be
Sorry. Yes, I really should mute myself. Right, here we go, on mute.
the last piece that, well, they said the last chapter of Abel's statue story will be revealed to us. So I'm assuming they're going to show us why she ends up being buried in North America / Canada, and like some of the stuff to do with that and how she got to be there. Because at the moment we have absolutely nothing and absolutely no idea and no connections as to why she would have been buried there. But did they say it was free?
They did. They did make an explicit point that it would be free for all players.
Ah, excellent. Even
Either
better.
that, or when I wrote the notes down on my notepad in front of me, and I wrote down point number 5, last chapter of Avel's story, free for all players. Unless I wrote that down wrong and made it up in my head, it is definitely going to be free for all players.
I'm very excited.
Me too. Me too.
I
That is
think,
definitely a chapter I
yeah,
will play.
I think post game, Abel's had such like little opportunity to have that growth as a character. Like some of the DLCs have even made her feel like she's gone back on character development from that main story. So for this to be, definitely after she's met Cass and after she's gone to Francia and Northern Ireland and stuff like that, and to be like, okay, this is definitely going to be the end. This is where her character ends up. I'm intrigued, but at the same time, I want it to be her decision. I want it to be her story. I want it to be something that she would do. Because my fear is that she's running from Odin again, which, like, yeah, she's a sage, but she's allowed to have her own decisions. She's already told him to fuck off more than once.
Yeah, yeah. It's a point that I think we've discussed many times on this show, and I know I've discussed it a lot with different people on Discord, and I forget if I said this verbally on the show or in a chat conversation, but all this expansion stuff with Eivor, it has, for me anyway, it's really negatively affected my opinion of her because she's not really a character. She's just an avatar that you're playing as. I guess in some way she is because it's the Animus and you're reliving her memories. But yeah, the fact that she has not grown or adjusted or changed across 2 DLCs and the Fated Encounter and all these game modes, are they even really happening, or are they just the Animus is being hacked, or however you try to explain it within the lore?
Is
Yeah,
it Bassam just being a dick for his own amusement?
yeah, but it's just like, yeah, what are we doing here? So I am looking forward to a proper closure of her story. Go on, Declan.
So it is free to all players. I'm going to say that. I've just found the YouTube and it's a free chapter for all players. So,
Oh, excellent.
And
Perfect.
the other good news is I accidentally reloaded an old save months and months ago. I lost a lot of progress, my own default, which means I haven't actually completed in my current save the last chapter of Avor's story because of my old save. So
Okay.
this means Declan can hold off completing the last chapter arc till this new game chapter and then complete a seamless transition.
Ooh.
Because I'm clever. But
Can I just say, right, and again, we spoke about this at length a few weeks ago when we did our episode on replayability. This is where if we had the ability to replay arcs or within Valhalla structure or do a new game plus of the entire game and skip all the side rubbish, wouldn't it be nice to do that replay of Norway, the three, I think it is 3 or 4 arcs that actually cover Eivor, Basim and Sigurd, and then finish off the story with this final chapter. So you've got that entire story of her life, the bits that matter anyway for character development, as one playthrough of, I don't know, 15, 20 hours. It would be so nice to do that.
Like your
Let's
own
see.
little mini game within a game.
Exactly.
And that's a very good point. They didn't mention New Game Plus at all tonight, did they?
They did not. That is a great point, and I'm
Because they said
worried.
it was supposed to be coming at some point, but it's been well over a year since they said that. And they've only just started mentioning they're bringing out the Discovery Tour, which they mentioned at the same time.
Yeah, so the guy that they had, so after they did the video sort of update, and there's still a few more points to cover, which we'll get to in a minute. After they did the video update, they switched over to a live stream of Origins where they were demoing, I suppose, or showing off the 60 FPS on console.
Mm-hmm.
And they had with them, now I'm not sure exactly how to pronounce his name, I don't know whether he's Spanish or Portuguese. I think the pronunciation will be different. I'm going to go with Jose Araiza. He's the post-release director, should we say, for Valhalla. And he was interviewed some point last year, and he did say then New Game Plus would be the final or one of the very final things that's added to the game. But it would have been nice to have seen that on that roadmap slide, wouldn't it? Or at least had a quick one-sentence verbal update confirming.
Yeah. Because at the point with just ignoring it, like not mentioning it, just feels like it's been ignored.
I'm sorry, Karen Louise.
No, I'm done.
I was just saying, I'm going to actually agree with you. I think it is being ignored for actually, in my opinion, a valid reason to ignore it. And that is, I get it, it's the final update, so yes, we do need that, like, hey, it's coming, don't worry. But one thing I don't hear a lot of people talking about, because everyone just wants New Game Plus, is how actually difficult New Game Plus is for Valhalla compared to any other game in the series. Because they have to find a way to make everyone's New Game Plus unique. No one can get the same New Game Plus. And by that I mean is James right now could go out and buy Valhalla for the first time, for example, speed run the game, don't do any side stuff, don't do any books of knowledge or anything. So when he does New Game Plus, all that stuff gets loaded in. But as Louise could go in and she could 100% the map except for one book of knowledge. But when you do the New Game Plus, they've then got to make the system realize that actually, no, Louise has to have already unlocked 99% of all of the gold icons, so she can't find all the same gear, because gear isn't like Odyssey where you can get 2 of the same item, it's a unique gear system. So then they've got to try and find a way of making sure so that you're not able to go find a book of knowledge that you've already gotten, because the system wouldn't know how to handle 2 perks of the same type being tried to put into a menu, or 2 of the same CXs unlocked, 2 of the same helmets being jammed into the menu. It, to me, honest, it's like they're kind of realizing the more content they put into Valhalla, they have to then find a way of cancelling that content for people who've unlocked it and then giving it to people who haven't, because this inventory system isn't designed to have 2 of the same swords or 2 of the same helmets like any other RPG. It's designed for unique ability for each weapon, so you can only have one great sword of a certain type. So to be honest, I think they're forgetting it because it's a lot more challenging than any other system. And even I'm struggling to wrap my head around it with all the others. Like, Odyssey had a really cool loot pool, so really, if you find the same weapon you've already got, it just kind of fits into the system, so there's no real problem. But now they've got to say, hang on a minute, James can't play this New Game Plus and go back to that church to unlock that chest, because he's already done it. Or he can't go back to that river raid and get them resources because he's already maxed Raven's 4 out. But Declan doesn't do River Raid, so he has to go to all their maps to redo them. Or I could just be overcomplicating it. James?
I don't think you're overcomplicating it. I wouldn't say it's a simple challenge. But again, I'm going to repeat a point we made a few weeks ago when we were discussing replayability. I appreciate Odyssey has some different loot and some different mechanics with how it handles things like your active abilities, but it handled all of that. I'm going to make a comparison right now to Horizon Forbidden West, which, by the way, got New Game Plus in a major title update last week, 5 months after release. Just saying. But when you do your New Game Plus in Horizon Forbidden West, you keep all your gear, and there is unique gear in Horizon. There isn't duplicate sets. You keep all your resources, you keep all of your abilities and skills. You just build on them. You just keep adding to them, and it just comes back to the point that Valhalla should have been designed from day one, even if they weren't going to have the code finished and tested for day one release. That's fine, because Origins didn't have New Game Plus on release. Odyssey didn't have New Game Plus on release. It's absolutely fine. They got them several months later. Why was Valhalla not designed for New Game Plus from the start? Why can't you have an if-then statement that says, if this person hasn't previously unlocked, I don't know, the Dive of the Valkyrie skill from this book of knowledge, then let them unlock the skill. Else, mark the checkbox as done, don't do anything apart from to say they've completed that location, and they move on. Same with gear. Yes, there's unique gear, but you could still have it mark the location objective on the map, tick off the little glowing gold dot, and then move on. But maybe it will never have New Game Plus, and so be it. I mean, we know from our conversation with Hayete a couple of weeks ago when we were discussing his no damage run, he burned through Valhalla's main story whilst taking no damage, which is still amazing, in 17 hours. So if you really want to play Valhalla fast, you can, but you need to be mashing the space bar through all of those cutscenes and skipping all the side content. The thing is, I'd want to replay it and watch all the cutscenes, because I'd be replaying it for the story, and kind of trying to immerse myself in the character. So it would be a lot longer, but anyway, who knows? Maybe it will just never get it. Maybe the moment has passed. You know, people's interest in the story is waning. I don't know, but I think New Game Plus would bring people back. Shall we move on to actually, before we do move on to the other announcements, do you two have any final thoughts on the Valhalla announcements?
I'll be honest, they weren't my favourite part, like I said earlier. Got more exciting as they went along. My favourite one was the Discovery Tour.
Well, let's get on with it. Tell us more.
So, we were promised a Discovery Tour ages ago, and I can't remember exactly what they said. It's out as a standalone thing on Stadia, I think now. But
yeah, it's so this is the bit I didn't get. I don't know whether it's already available as a standalone for PC, but it's coming out as a standalone for consoles. What you said, Stadia, which is the Google gaming service, I think. I don't know. And did they say Amazon Luna as well?
Yeah, they did.
Have. Right. Okay. So yeah, it's coming out as a standalone.
But what they did with it, which is different from the last couple of times, is they're working with a university in Canada to kind of make it have sort of an education guide this time, so you can use it as a learning tool, which Archeo Gaming, very, very good. My dissertation is on this. My internship over the summer's in this. I am very excited and intrigued to see what they do with that and how they do it differently. But yeah, that's quite a strange selection of consoles to do standalone in, particularly Stadia, when I don't remember the last time I heard anyone say they played it.
I know why that makes perfect sense, but Declan's got his hand up. You go first, mate.
To be honest, this kind of was revealed way before the tease. Actually, I've found this at 11:36 this morning on the Xbox store, Discovery Tour Viking Age for £16.24p, which, talk to people in assisted server, gets even more weirder as heck that Origins has one, a standalone, that you can go out and buy, but that's for PC only for £16. Odyssey apparently has one, standalone, but apparently you can only get that on Ubisoft Connect, I think they said. And now Valhalla has one that's only available on Xbox, PlayStation, and the cloud software. So what the heck is it with weird release platforms for the Discoveries tours, and why are they so damn expensive? Like £16 like a new AAA game for some stuff on sale. Like a fiver should be cheap enough. Like I'm not forking 16 quid out for this.
I think it's the same as the last two, where if you have the game, you get it free anyway,
Yeah,
potentially,
yeah,
which
you
makes
do. Yeah,
sense. But for the games, for the schools and the education systems who are buying it solely for the education bit, it makes sense that it would be like £10-15. I would say that it's worth it, particularly with Odysseys rather than Origins, because Origins you can just speed through to just get the trophies and the unique skin for s-
Senu.
thank you. Name escaped me for a minute then. um, yeah, the unique skin for Senu. But with Odyssey, you have like the little quizzes that make sure you have to pay attention, and they are a bit more friendly in terms of user face, I guess, for a school setting, which again would explain why they have that certain release on PC, because then you could have education platforms use it in an easy manner, because every school has, assuming that every school has at least one computer that they can project in a classroom.
Yeah, that was my thought. My first thought was the price is a bit high for schools. If you're buying one copy per pupil, but you wouldn't be. You'd be buying one copy per classroom or one copy per history teacher. And like you say, Louise, you might project it, or you might get children to group together around a few PCs or a few consoles even, um, and work through exercises or explore the world or whatever. So you'd cut the cost there. But what clicked in my head a moment ago was when you said, why would they bother with Stadia? Now, I'm not a teacher, but I did used to work in an infant school on a voluntary basis as a school governor. And our school and lots of schools are either fully on various cloud platforms or moving towards them. So the school I was a governor at used the Google workspace platform for all of the teachers and all of the children. So everyone had Gmail, G Drive, Google Calendar, all that kind of stuff. Now I don't know how Stadia, appreciate Stadia's, it's a game streaming platform rather than Google Docs and Google Workspace platform. But I wonder if you are a school, as part of your membership or your subscription fee, do you get a discount on Stadia, or do you get Stadia for free because it's for education purposes? And schools, mostly, at least in the UK where we are, most schools are non-profit organisations. Therefore, do you get either the Google platform very, very cheaply or at a discount? So what Ubisoft potentially are doing, if the schools use it in the right way, is they may get access to these, or at least to the Viking Age Discovery Tour through Stadia very, very cheaply, which is a fantastic education tool. Whether you've got your teacher doing it from their laptop, on a projector, or whether you've got kids with Chromebooks, running everything over the cloud and exploring the world on their own. So it's quite interesting to think how. And actually, I'd be interested to learn, because Xbox now has a streaming gaming service. And for those schools that are in the Microsoft camp of using Office 365 and Outlook and all of that, would their subscription to Microsoft services potentially extend to the Xbox streaming service and let them use these kinds of educational games in the future? I've no idea. I'm not an expert on the cloud productivity tools of Google and Microsoft, but it's an interesting thought about how you might be able to bring these games at very little sort of monthly cost or startup cost. But also, if you can run it on a Chromebook or an old laptop or an old desktop because you're streaming, you've saved so much. You don't need a gaming PC or a brand new Xbox or a brand new PlayStation 5 or whatever to run this. So I think it's an interesting option because the children are not going to care if it's 4K, 60 FPS. They're just going to be happy that they're exploring ancient Greece or ancient, Viking Age England or whatever. So it makes sense. I think it's a really smart move from the point of view of getting the content potentially out to those organisations that can't afford, full price hardware and full price software. Declan, mate, over to you.
You mentioned the Microsoft streaming. Blah, 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 blah. That's kind of my wheelhouse lately because I'm a weirdo. Technically, for schools to use Microsoft Stream Wheelhouse, they would have to get Game Pass, which has a new update which can allow you to stream games on their cloud system through Microsoft Edge, even if the game's not on Game Pass. So, really, yes, if a school can afford a tenner a month, they could technically stream the Discovery Tour through cloud, which sounds fancy.
Intriguing.
It is.
Yeah.
I will admit, and this is off topic, I saw the update in Xbox's official announcement, and I said, sorry, if I bought Game Pass and I'm in bed with sickness and I want to stream Elden Ring on my laptop, can I do that? Because it's not part of Game Pass. And they said, that's how it's supposed to work. So
Ooh.
that would be, I can play Assassin's Creed on the go, apparently. I could punch a dragon on the go. I mean, what? What?
Study history, that's what you meant.
Yeah, I meant study history.
Absolutely.
I meant hardcore Assassin's Creed products. This is what I'm doing. I am not punching dragons because it's more interesting than punching a temple after the 100th time.
Tomb Raider. Lara Croft punched dinosaurs.
Dawn, not to be rude, ever since Diving with Devitt clearly stated that they may have been around saber-toothed tigers with the Isu. I really just want... Has anyone ever seen that really weird film, 10,000 BC?
The one with Jack Black in it?
No, it's I don't know how to describe it, but it feels like 10,000 BC. But it has like a kid facing a saber-toothed tiger while the pyramids are being built. It's weird. And I'm now just thinking of the Isu building their own little skyscrapers and a saber-toothed tiger just stalks around for dinner and they just punch it. Because they've got apple of
Yowling at the door like a cat desperate to be let in.
And they're just like, no milk for you, out. I would pay to see that. I would literally pay just to see an Isu with a little bit of a brush go, shoo, go away, kitty cat.
The little Isu branded spray bottle, just like, tss, tss, get away.
Janet, come quick, the mammoths are back. Fetch my apple of Eden, I'll drag it away. Jamie, just gonna think I've lost the plot.
I'm going to be honest, I have no idea what you're talking about, and that's fine.
But James, we know that Isu could exist in the Ice Age times. Darby said saber-toothed tigers, and we've got that really snazzy photo frame of us three riding that saber-toothed tiger into the sunset.
We have. You're not thinking creatively enough. Forget saber-toothed tigers. I want to ride a woolly mammoth.
Yes.
Yes.
James, yes.
See, now you're talking.
Oh, but what about rhinodons? Giant saber-toothed rhinos.
What?
I watched too much Ice Age as a kid. Isu meets the sloth.
That well-known documentary. Dear, I love those films.
Come on, imagine a news free. Have you two seen the Ice Age films?
Of course.
All right. Imagine in your head a three-way conversation, and I know it can't happen. Just let's have some fun of Sid the Sloth, Basim, and Sean Hastings just having a chat. That would be hilarious. Just Basim this is what we have to deal with, and just Sid's like, oh, hi. Sean's like, fascinating. I did not know a sloth sounded like this.
If you're listening to this show wondering what the hell's going on, it's late. Declan is tired, but he's okay. We will take good care of him. Can I just make a little off-topic comment? So the studio that made those films, I think they were called Blue Sky Productions. Yeah. Did you know they've recently closed?
I did. I saw the little animation of Scrap finally getting the nut. Oh.
Yeah.
End of an era. Oh, yeah. God.
Absolutely.
And it was actually an acorn of Isu. Yeah. It was actually every time he goes after it. These little acorns of Isu were used to hide tectonic vaults, and that's why the world kept destruction when Scratch was after the acorn. Just making it canon. This is what I'm here
Oh
for.
dear. Oh
And
dear.
this is kind
Are
of
you
what
are you feeling all right, mate? I'm worried about you.
to be honest, this is like the weird thing as like an Assassin's Creed fan, and I've never admitted this. I have such a bizarre imagination that I find telling stories is just grey and white, black and white, like Assassin good, Templar bad. So bland. It's not creative, but having like a little freedom and say, what if we made a roguelike game using a mythical potion where we punch a dragon? Is it sensible canon? Is it heck? Is it a
Mm.
serious story we should tell? Is it heck? Is it a creative way to have some fun? Oh hell yeah! Should we
I'm sorry,
crit?
is it sensible canon? We punched the Pope.
That is sensible canon. I
Yeah.
will.
We're
The
not in
Pope.
Kansas anymore, Declan.
But you know where I'm coming from. Like, is it right to criticize punching a dragon? Well, no. It's just creative fun. Like, does the game have to always be serious and not have some light-hearted fun?
Oh, I quite agree with you. I
Drunk
quite agree
Jacob,
with you.
yes, absolutely.
And I'm gonna die on a hill. Like, punching a dragon, it's yeah, I get it. It's not perfect, but come on, it's a light-hearted fun. Literally, if they wanted to get serious, Basim would have made love with a horse by now. Let's just be realistic. They've not been too serious with the myth. Otherwise, Odin would have had an eight-legged horse, and Loki would be, yeah, weird, weird. But yes, I'm okay, people. This is just the real side of Declan.
All right, listen, I'm going to bring it briefly back to
Yeah,
topic. So,
someone's
Louise,
been
any
on
final?
Valka's tea a bit too much.
Absolutely. Or needs more. Um, any final thoughts on the Discovery Tour stuff, Louise, for what you're doing? And people may know you are studying, reaching towards the end of your
I'm heading
BA in
into my
archaeology?
yeah. So I'm doing my undergrad BA in archaeology and history, but my dissertation, which is like the final topic you do at the end, which is like your own semi-original research on a topic you want to do, is archaeogaming. So teaching or learning archaeology and history through the medium of video games. So you've had Kate on before. She talked about that,
Mm,
didn't she? Yeah,
yeah.
that sort of thing. I'm actually doing my internship with Kate this summer, which is quite sweet.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
um, and yeah, so like I've researched before on how the Discovery Tours have been used in schools as a learning tool. It was and has been since the Origins one.
Well, damn. There was me waffling on earlier about how it might be used. Was I completely wrong? You tell us. How is it used? What sort of things have you seen?
Well, I haven't seen in depth because it's mainly in America that it's been used, America and Canada.
Gotcha.
Um, just sort of like an additional learning aid for history classes and stuff. And there's like a very famous article. When this episode goes live, I might find it and put it on Twitter of them trying to compare like like one group of students at school who learnt bits for a quiz by playing the Discovery Tour, and some who just did it with a regular class. And God, I can't remember what the findings were, which is really bad of me, but it has been a long day.
We'll let you off.
Yeah. But no, I'm quite intrigued to see, what's going to happen this time, how they're changing it, because there was that difference between Origins and Odysseys when they brought the second one out.
Mm,
Um, so it'll be interesting to see what they've changed and how they've improved it, and I'm quite intrigued.
yeah, yeah, understood. All right. Let's move on to sort of the last few smaller things. So, as part of the video, they discussed the recent 60 FPS update for Origins for Xbox Series and PS5. Again, that was something that's been out now for about a month, I think. Have you
For a bit
both
of a
had?
while, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Have you experienced that? What are your thoughts?
I don't own an Xbox and I own a PS4, so I
Okay.
haven't actually experienced it firsthand. But I have watched people play through, and like obviously I've seen the virtual photography and stuff that people have done. It looks okay. The main surprise to me was the wait times just absolutely disappeared on
What do
like
you mean
fast
by the
travel.
wait time?
The
Oh,
fast travel wait times. Some of them
gotcha.
seem seconds compared to what it used to be.
I'm
I just think
assuming this is because so you're on PS4. If
I
you're
am.
seeing people play on the newer consoles because of the SSD storage, yeah, the load times are going to be a lot
Mm.
shorter. Yeah,
But some people who I think there was one or two people I was speaking to who had a PS5 before and obviously after the update for 60 FPS and still had that increase, like the wait time decrease, so it was quicker, maybe
interesting.
just a little bit. Don't know if that's universal, but
Is that something you've noticed, Declan? Have you had a chance to fire up Origins on your Xbox, your new one?
I'm too poor to own Origins.
Do you not get it through? You get it through Game Pass, though, don't you? Because again, that was the other thing recently, which wasn't in today's video, but it's now available on Game Pass.
I can't even afford Game Pass at the moment.
Ah, okay, got you, mate.
I'm literally in this rut where I'm trying to save up for Harry Potter. I'm also trying to save up money for this next Assassin's Creed rumor. It could either be Rift or it could be Assassin's Creed 1 Remake. I don't have times to save up for this sort of things, but I play the Ezio collection, and that's meant to be 60 FPS boost, and I can't see any blooming difference. But as someone rightly told me, this is if you're not playing next door to a 360 and then your Xbox, you'll never see a difference. So I'm unsure.
Yeah, yeah,
that's probably why I noticed the difference for someone playing on a PS5 because I own the PS4. It's like I know what the quote unquote lower graphics are going to look like, so I know what to watch out for and find that difference.
I've certainly
Question
noticed a
mark? I don't know.
difference. Yeah, it's the experience I've had. I mean, I play Origins. Well, all of the games I've played on PC, so it's different. Um, but comparing it to Horizon, which again, with the major update last week, they've made a major change to the graphics, really significant change. Um, now I've been Horizon Forbidden West has two settings on the PS5. I don't know if it's the same on PS4. You can play it in quality mode, which I believe is 4K 30 FPS, or you can play in performance mode, which is 60 FPS, but it does magic. So it's not running at 4K, but it kind of looks like it's at 4K. And after the update was published, I thought, well, I'll try this performance mode to give me 60 FPS. I never realized how different it would feel between those 2 frames per second settings. It's amazing. It's silky smooth. Everything feels fast. Everything flows. So I can understand why people have been now at least I can say I can understand why people were asking for Origins 60 FPS for ages, and why people are excited to play it because yeah, it feels like a whole new game. So, should we move on to the last? Actually, there's another piece of Origins, or 2 pieces of Origins related news. So there's going to be a free weekend coming this weekend, actually, or 16th to the 20th.
From Thursday, yeah, Thursday the
Mm,
16th to the 20th, I believe.
yeah,
So
yeah.
Thursday till Monday-ish. I suppose
What
it
would
depends
that
on
be?
time zones, exact start
Yeah,
finish times.
yeah. You could complete Origins in 4 days. Not too much trouble if you skip some of the
Have done
side
it,
content.
can confirm.
Have you that fast?
Yeah. When I
Awesome.
got the game, it was in my gap year of uni before I started uni. So I basically took the entire week off whatever I was doing and just finished it.
Oh, I remember those days of being able to play games like that. Anyway, curse being at work.
And now I get to do it for my degree.
Excellent choice of degree, by the way. Oh dear. Um, yeah, so that's coming up. Related to the free weekend, there's going to be some tattoos in Valhalla for people that are still playing Valhalla and want to do the challenges to collect the tattoos. Personally, I don't, but it's there. What are your thoughts on those 2 little extra announcements, you two?
I'll let Declan go first.
They're, I think I fell asleep at that. No, I'm only kidding. I didn't actually see it after this, but after it got to the Origins bit, I had to turn the stream off because I was just about to bath my son. So
Fair enough.
after that, I've not seen anything. I just would watch the Valhalla stuff and a little bit of the transmedia because I'm excited about the transmedia.
Yeah, well, I mean, so let's wrap up then. So the final kind of major bit of news was that in September there is going to be something, an event, I don't know what, a live
Yeah,
stream, who
they
knows?
said. Yeah, they said it was like the future of Assassin's Creed, but didn't go into
Hmm.
detail.
Hmm.
And a load of people are hinting. Well, a load of people have kind of extrapolated that to mean, oh, we're going to get an AC1 remake
Yes.
because they also announced that this is basically the start of the 15th anniversary. Today is basically the start of the 15th anniversary celebrations.
Yeah.
So there's that website, assassinscreed15.com, where you can download the fan kit with all the media in it. You can do the speedrunning challenges. You can.
Sorry,
Oh god,
speedrunning challenges.
yeah. So there's basically like a community thing of like Creed running. Join a 12-week streaming speedrun marathon featuring a new game every week, spanning from Valhalla backwards to the original AC.
Hmm. Oh,
And
this
then
is the
you've
calendar they
got
put up. Yeah. Okay.
yeah, and
Okay.
then you've got like the free weekend. You've got the 12 trials of 12 weekends quizzes thing, which we've all done, haven't we?
I
Yeah,
have done the Valhalla quiz. Yes.
yeah. They're releasing one game a week, so I'm assuming next week's will be the Odyssey questions. 10 questions a week, basically on one game. And then they had that Celebrations roadmap, which you just pointed out, which in September is the last one and is AC1. So it works
Yes.
backwards. And I haven't been in the fan kit yet. Was it was it you, James, that mentioned that the AC1 design was new and looked remastered? And so
Right.
everyone's kind of taken
So
that to say that AC1 is definitely being remastered
I feel
or
like I may have,
remade.
yeah, to quote,
To not point it at you, just to be like say in general that
no,
after
no, no,
wanting it for so
no,
long.
it's all fine. I mean, to quote Stede Bonnet, I may have caused a little bit of a fuckery here. So that's an Our Flag Means Death reference for anyone
Yes.
listening.
Well sussed.
Now that's a fuckery. Um, so I downloaded the fan kit whilst I was watching the Access the Animus stream and chatting with people in that chat room. And it took forever to download. I guess the website was under very heavy load because everyone was quickly
It
logging
kept
on, and
crashing. It
it
kept
did.
crashing.
It did. And when it downloaded, I quickly unzipped it to have a look through. So in the fan kit, and it's available at the website that Louise mentioned a moment ago, assassinscreed15.com.
Mm-hmm.
There's a folder for every game in the series, although Liberation is bundled in with AC3. I still feel a bit sorry for Aveline, but there we are. And in each folder, there is some game art. There's a logo, which is a transparent PNG, so you can use it as you wish. There's some key art in there. It's a really nice set of wallpapers and character sort of pictures and so on. So, all the way from AC1 to Valhalla. Then there's a new folder with some new screenshots and new key art and so on for the AC15 celebration. There's a really nice kind of edit of the traditional Assassin's Creed symbol, but with the number 15 kind of blended into it. Looks great. Anyway, so I was just having a quick look through all the folders. I went to the Unity and Odyssey ones first because that's just me, just to see what was in it. There's a couple of there's a couple of new Unity wallpapers I've not seen before in previous fan kits. So I'm happy about that. Anyway, let me get back to the point. So I interrupt myself. I was looking through all the folders, and you know how probably in the last 18 months, I guess it is, certainly not with Odyssey, but I think they started to do it with Valhalla and other games that Ubisoft make, like Far Cry and so on. They've been putting this, and they do it with Just Dance as well, because we do play a bit of do you really play Just Dance? Or no, you do Just Dance. Anyway, we have that in my house. And they always have a Ubisoft original underneath like the marketing logo for the game. So Far Cry, a Ubisoft original, Just Dance, Assassin's
Which they've
Creed
only
Valhalla.
started doing recently, I think, in the last 5 or 6 years.
Exactly. Now, again, this is me. This is proper like tinfoil hat conspiracy theory stuff, but hear me out. So I was having a quick look through the folders, and in Valhalla, you've got the logo, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Ubisoft original. Then all the other games are just the normal logos that you'd be very familiar with. Origins with it, is it the
Eye of Horus.
Eye of Horus in there? You've got Odyssey, which is the adapted sort of lambda symbol for
Sparta.
Laconia, all the rest of it. And it's all what you'd expect, except when you look in the AC1 folder, it says Assassin's Creed, and then it's a Ubisoft original. And that just stood out to me as why would they? I mean, of course, how long is it going to take the photo, the media person to create this? Not long, but why would they
20
call out?
minutes.
Yeah, why would they call out AC1 with that slightly refreshed logo with a Ubisoft original under it? I don't know. And I just saw that and thought, does that hint at a refresh, an update, a remake, a remaster, whatever the correct word is of AC1? The other thing that stood out, and a lot of people commented on it, was right at the start of the video, of Ubisoft's video, just for a few seconds.
After that countdown, yeah?
After the countdown, yeah. If you picture in your mind, this is a podcast, it's terrible for visual stuff, but let's go with it. Think of that opening intro video for AC1. Altair in the crowd, jumping down, doing the air assassination. And then there's that wide shot. I think it's the skyline of Jerusalem, but I could be wrong. Don't kill me. There's a wide shot showing the skyline of one of the cities. Now, in the original version of the game, it's that very washed out blue-grey colour palette, which is fine. For a few seconds at the start of the presentation today, you had that same wide shot, but it had been colorized. Now, again, maybe they just colorized it because they wanted to spend a bit of time on it, because it was new content and they wanted to show a bit of pizzazz. Or maybe if you're doing that crazy joining the dots where they don't really exist, you could say they colorized it as a hint that they're working on a visual update for AC1. They've done this updated logo because they're working on an update for AC1. Or it's just they did it because they wanted to, do something a bit nice for the video. But I think these things might have a little bit of meaning. Go on, Declan, what do you think?
Can I add something to your tinfoil hat?
Please do.
Okay, so when you watch a game trailer, what do they always put in the corner of the game trailer?
Not actual gameplay.
Okay, what else do they add? They always add an
A
age range
watermark.
sticker. An age range sticker.
Yes.
Right, when you Google the Assassin's Creed 1 original trailer, in the corner there is no age range rating. However, in the first opening shot, right at the bottom, you have Peggy.info 18 on the Assassin's Creed watercolor. Why would you splash color? Okay, get it, visualize. That's nice. But why would you then market it as Peggy 18? Because technically, anyone even new now would know that Assassin's Creed is an 18. And also, when you Google the Assassin's Creed 1 intro, it is just a grey thing without the Peggy 18 logo. And then, just to
Oh my God, you're right. I'm just rewatching it right now.
You see where I'm coming from? And then 13th of November 2007 is when AC1 was released. The final roadmap is September 2022. Join us as of September, Assassin's Creed 1, as we unveil the future Assassin's Creed during a very special event. So, you're telling me a special event, and the final game is Assassin's Creed 1, which it comes 2 months before its official release date, with a Peggy 18 sticker on the now colour marked.
Damn, dude.
And you've got to think, when you look at the original E3 skyline, I'm just going to pull it up on Google because I'm sad for this. I know people it's not that they've just gone, hey, let's add colour, because they've specifically added specific colours. The trees are green. There's individual colour grading on the rocks. There's even what looks like watermarks. There's birds been added. There is smoke in the corner. There's an actual draw distance, which is colorized. The scaffolding's actually brown colour, so they've done it. The rooftops have got tree foliage coloured. I know I've looked in it too much. I get it. I'm slightly
It's
crazy.
a lot of detail to put in just for a 5-second clip in a trailer
Exactly. That's
for
where
no
it's got me
reason.
thinking. Yeah, it's like, I get it. If
That
you want
opening
to,
skyline, you're right. It's all over in 3 seconds. Now, maybe they just did it to be nice, but I don't think so.
but you then got to think as they before this event they put from a leaf of faith to the iconic crest, the eagle is a symbol strongly connected to for centuries, and it is an assassin in Altair robes jumping from a building with an eagle background. I get it. It's an artist interpretation, but it's very AC1 esque type Assassin's Creed painting. To then have today's reveal all about Valhalla, but have some insane details added to an old game. Like, heck, name me one fan that would have complained if they just released the original E3 trailer, and I tell you, nobody would complain because that's what we've seen for years. So, who are they marketing a coloured one for? And yes, Declan's got his tinfoil hat on. It means nothing. Really? Really? Does it mean nothing? Has Declan got his tinfoil hat on again? Yes.
I don't know, man. You could join the dots and very easily say that that's why this calendar is counting backwards over the next 12 weeks, from Valhalla back
Because
to
why else would they
AC1.
do it in reverse order when
Yep.
most Assassin's Creed marathons have been in chronological order?
Yep. Yeah, let's see. Could be cool.
We'll just have to wait and see.
I mean, the dream situation would be AC1, let's call it a remake. And in September, they also announced the next game, whether that's coming out for the Christmas period in November or whether that's coming out next year, March time. Who knows? But it would be nice to hear about that as well.
Yeah.
So
it could just be that they're just teasing us, and it's like, oh no, Orlog's its new esport now. It's its own esport now, kind of like
so funny.
kind of like Gwent.
Oh dear, yeah.
The misdirection.
I would love for there to have been, just as a side note, to be Orlog as a little mobile game you could just play whenever. Because I find Orlog quite fun. It's my level of difficulty, not very difficult, but it's still quite fun to play. And I've got the physical version, which is great, and we played it over Christmas as a family. It was fun, but a mobile
Orlog
version would be
World
fun.
Cup.
Yeah.
Well, they have a Just Dance World Cup, so they probably would do.
Awesome.
If there was its own esport, and now there are physical versions, you could have tournaments.
That'd be cool.
It would.
The last thing we should mention in terms of news is, so the stream then went into some live stream of Origins, and then way later there was a little bit about Assassin's Creed stories and transmedia. Now I'm going to be completely honest with you, by then I'd shut the stream down and gone on and done other things, so I don't even know what was announced.
I caught the last half of that, but that was only which was the second season of the Edward Kenway thing.
There's a webtoon coming. Yeah.
They had a sort of interview with the guys behind that, and then they also talked about the Magus conspiracy, which is the book that's coming out on the 2nd of August, but I've already read. And they had a chat with Kate Hartfield, who is the author of that, and also revealed that it's actually not one book, it's going to be a trilogy. Which
you've chatted with the author?
I haven't. They chatted with the author on the live stream.
Okay. I thought that was cool. Okay.
I would like to. If Kate is listening and would like to have a chat, I'm more than happy. But yeah, they sort of revealed that, the stuff that's coming up, but quite a lot of that is stuff that was already known, or that is coming out pretty soon. Like the Magus conspiracy is 6 weeks away. So it wasn't groundbreaking stuff, apart from the revelation that, Hartfield is writing a trilogy instead of a single novel.
The Magus conspiracy, that name, Magus, is that not the same person who recorded the notes about Io, Aminet? That was the Magus Codex, was it not, in Valhalla? Is that the same reference?
You know what? I don't know. Was it? God, it's been so long since I've read those notes.
Yeah.
If it is,
Yeah.
it's completely slipped my mind as a reference in that book, but...
No worries. No worries. So, any other thoughts on the transmedia stuff, Declan? Did you see any of that? I don't have anything to say. I'm really sorry, everyone, if you worked on the transmedia, but I missed it. I do think, just as a point of view of structuring this announcement, they really should have done that at the start. Because
yeah.
how many people stayed to watch Origins content that they've probably already played? I don't know.
From the Twitch, like, I watched the live stream on YouTube, so the chat was disabled, but I had people who were in the audience for the Twitch live stream and stayed throughout the, you know, the Origins 60 FPS bit.
Mm.
And let's just say poor Gabe was trying his hardest to be positive, and the Twitch chat were not very enthusiastic by that point, which is quite disheartening. But
The
these
fact that
people
they
were...
were streaming Origins, or just at the overall content of the update?
I'm not entirely sure. Because all I saw was just a couple of screenshots of the stream chat, which is just people spamming Z, like snoring, which was
That's a bit
which I
harsh.
found quite rude.
Yeah, that is. Just
And
if
that is
it's
why
not
I
for
watched it
you,
on
just
YouTube.
log off.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, I had to go and take my kids out, so it was. But I didn't go into the chat and say, "Oh, this is boring. I'm going." I just closed the stream like a normal human being, and then went and did other things. But people are just
it's just common
scumbags.
etiquette. If you don't like it, just walk away.
Exactly. You know. Oh dear. All right.
I think it's because people kind of just on purposely hyped up this reveal as, oh my god, it's going to be something magical. And when the developers just do one, in my opinion, this is one of the coolest things for a game company to actually bother doing. This is phenomenal. They don't have to have the time to do this. To like say, hey, this is 12 weeks celebrating games. Who, like, what's wrong with that?
Why wasn't it 15 weeks for 15 years?
That's true. I really don't know why they didn't do it tomorrow on the
Sorry,
actual 15th
I'm not being
of June.
picky. I'm just genuinely wondering if you're going to do a massive celebration. 15 years, 15 weeks just seems a bit
That'd
sensible.
be cool. That'd have
And
been
just,
cool, to be honest.
let's just clarify, that would have been a good opportunity to have a week for Liberation, and a week for the
Freedom
Chronicles
Cry.
games, and a week for Freedom Cry, and you could have covered, the other characters, who often don't get called out in the official marketing anyway, and maybe they deserved their place in the sun for a little while in this playthrough.
Mm-hmm.
What about marketing? Did anyone notice that, or is it just me who noticed in one of the trailers they actually used Cassandra and female Eivor?
It was so nice to
did.
see.
Rue and I were talking as the stream was starting. For them, it was like 2 a.m. in Australia, so it got a little bit chaotic. Yeah. But yeah, that was the first thing I pointed out. I was like, "Oh my god, it's Cass and female Eivor." The other picky thing was like, there's that, but there's no Aveline, there's no Evie. But we got halfway there. They were improving, but
2 steps.
As much
forward.
as I love my bisexual chaotic boy, Evie Fry.
Yeah, come on. Yeah. It was what you said though, Declan. I don't want to be like, what's the right word? I don't want to be snarky about it, but I've become so attuned to spotting when, in my opinion, the incorrect character is shown in the marketing materials, that it really did stand out when they picked the correct character.
Yeah.
And yeah, I saw that and thought,
use both
good.
Or use the canon, I guess.
Exactly.
Oh, I will ask, did anyone actually figure out where the heck you can read these webtoons from? Because I'm slightly curious. After the jaw-dropping experience that is The White Horse, that I would recommend everyone read, I want to now read this webtoon of Edward Kenway. I don't know where to read it.
I have an opening question to respond to your question. What is a webtoon?
I have no idea.
So,
good.
I know this because I read Lore Olympus, which is also a webtoon.
Okay.
So it's basically like a serialized comic online. So it has chapters of it released, kind of like how you know how Dickens used to release chapters of his
Mm,
books in a newspaper, like weekly or monthly. That, but with a comic that makes up like one book, essentially, or like a series.
mm.
I think Webtoon is the name of the site. I may be wrong. Let me quickly Google that. Um, yeah, it's literally, I think, yeah, because Lore Olympus is on the Webtoons website, which
Okay.
is, I think, why they get the name from where they do. Um,
Interesting. Webtoons.com.
let's see if they have
Okay.
the Assassin's Creed one on here.
I have never, until today, in this stream, I'd never heard of
Hmm.
Webtoon. I thought maybe it was a reference to some of these, because there's transmedia that is being written or has been written and released for the Chinese market and the Japanese market, which I
Yeah, the
guess we will
manhwa.
never get here. Right.
Yeah, the
Okay.
manhwa.
And I wondered if it was that. Um, but yeah, all right.
Hmm. Yeah, a webtoons is a digital comic originating in South Korea, meant to be read on, deliberately designed to be read on smartphones. With the website popular being webtoon.com.
Oh, okay.
But no, it's not on here. The Assassin's Creed Wikia just says it's a webtoon, but doesn't say where it is. It just says upcoming.
Mm,
So I
okay.
guess we'll have to see where it's announced to. That's very interesting.
I wonder what story it'll tell because Edward's life is well
They've
documented.
Yeah, and they've also done Edward's life in other comics previously.
Have they? I know, obviously the novel and the game, but is there comics as well then?
Yeah, there's comics of Edward,
Oh damn, I didn't know. Okay.
where he meets another pirate called Edward, who isn't
Right.
Blackbeard. Who is it? I think it's Edward England. I might be wrong. Haven't actually read
Hmm.
it, but
Okay.
Edward England was also a pirate at the time. Um. Yeah. Speaking of comics, I do have to make an addendum for the Jack the Ripper episode that we did, because I
We
realised as
can
soon
do
as we
we can do corrections and letters to the editor. No problem. Go for it.
well, you know how I was talking about the comic with Evie and Henry. As soon as we stopped recording, I realised I'd said the wrong name. It's not Conspiracy, because that's the World War II one. It is Assassin's Creed Locus.
Ah, locus. Right. As soon as you
Because I
said
have
that, we
one of
spoke
the
about it when we did the
yeah
Lydia episode. I remember that name now.
yeah because I found the alternate cover for edition number 1, which is Evie Fry on the back of Nelson's column, and she's written "Kick me in the dirt" on the back of it. It's an amazing
Awesome.
cover. But yeah,
Awesome.
while I'm here, I'll make up for that. I was wrong.
Duly noted. All good.
You can put the rotten fruit down.
Oh dear. All right. I think that is all of the announcements that were made today. So, Declan, closing thoughts. What are you looking forward to? What are you not bothered about? What's coming next? What are we doing next?
Ooh, this is a good time to plug information.
Huh.
Let me get my snazzy voice on. I'm excited mainly for Avor's continuation of the story. I trust the writers completely because the story they told in Valhalla and the Asgard and Jotunheim arcs is one of the best phenomenal writings in the series. And if anybody wants to at me, that's fine. I think they did a great job of tying up a lot of loose ends. So DLCs may have not been perfect. I don't think they're terrible or should be review bombed. I think they did a great job of being DLCs, but the base game stories is phenomenal, and I trust that Avor's final story is also going to be phenomenal. As it's free, I feel like they've been listening to me because I keep as you know on this podcast, I have advocated for an epilogue to be free for Avor for ages. So it feels like they're listening to me a little. So it's nice that is. even though everyone's against it, I'm hyped for the game mode. I don't care what anyone has to say. I want to punch a dragon because it's going to be fun. I've punched Alduin 15 times. I can happily punch another. So what's up for us? Well, thank you to Ubisoft. You know, we thought we had a relaxing schedule, didn't we, James? You know, some friends, some
we had a
calm
we had a schedule planned at least for the next 4 weeks, and then further out we had loads of ideas that were kind of fairly confirmed, and people we would chat with and topics we would cover. But yes, it's all been thrown out the window.
Because we're going to do what... we're going to have some fun. We're going to match Ubisoft. For every week they do a stream, we will try. It's not going to be possible all the time to cover the stream as we're doing tonight. It may not be possible. But to go with our fortnightly schedules, we will be taking 2 of the titles and we'll be singing their praise and our celebrations in them titles with fellow guests. So in July, obviously, will be the next one. We would probably be working with Origins and Syndicate, then Unity and Rogue, and so on. So it's busy, but hey, we love the games, so let's celebrate. And if you love the games, you should come on board and join the celebrations too.
Absolutely. And Louise, closing thoughts from you?
I'm more... it's going to be chaos for 12 weeks, but I'm very excited to see what's going to happen.
It's going to be like Codex-tober, but for 12
Yeah.
weeks and across the entire franchise.
Oh god, yeah. Plus, there's the quiz, which is actually a competition. So every week there's a new prize, and then there's a leaderboard where the grand prize is a trip for 2 to Italy. So if you didn't do that quiz, I'd get on it, because that prize looks very tempting. Very excited about the final chapter update and the discovery tour, and absolutely stoked about the book, because like, I was lucky enough to get an early release copy of the Magus Conspiracy from the publisher. I read it in under 12 hours. It's like a 300-page book. I read it in a day.
Wow.
And to find out there's 2 more coming, yes, please. Gimme. I am very excited. Because I love the books. I love books. I was that nerd who turned their bedroom into a library.
Same. We were actually going to do some book reviews, me and Declan, over the next few weeks, because we've also been sent very kindly by Aconite Books The Ming Storm, the one by Matthew J. Kirby, Gimmons. Oh no, that's one I purchased. We've been sent another one that I can't remember the name of right now, and I'm really, really sorry.
Sword of the White Horse.
Thank you very much. We were going to read those and then do book reviews, and we will still do that. But we kind of probably need to react to what's going on. So those plans might just be pushed out by a bit.
Which I'm excited to do Sword of White Horse, because there is a canon line near the end that has made me happy. And yeah, I will die on my hill that is the best thing they've ever said in a book, but I can't spoil it because James hasn't got that far to the end yet.
I haven't read it yet. No.
Yeah, so I can't spoil why I'm so excited for what the lead character says at the end. And I've put it in the Sisterhood server, and everyone knows why I'm on my hill. And I think
that
Louise
was like me. That was like me reading the Magus Conspiracy last night, because one of the team at the ones who came before also got a review copy, and we were all reading it together, and Andrew actually from Visions of the Past. So it was like this virtual book club of like, where are you in the book? Oh, I've finished. And there was he kind of warned us that there was this reference about 2/3 of the way through, and I was like, I kind of got past this reference, and then I hit it and I was like, oh, it's very obtuse. I need to take 10 minutes.
Just this to kind is in Sword of the White Horse, is it?
No, Magus Conspiracy.
Okay, gotcha.
I will tell you off camera if you like, if you don't want to spoil. But for anyone listening,
tell me when we stop recording so we don't spoil for anyone listening. But yeah, tell me. I can't wait.
Yeah, I had to take 10 minutes of joy, just pure joy.
Okay, nice. All right, Declan, should we close the show?
Yeah, so thanks to everyone listening. If you've got any thoughts yourself, please don't be afraid to email us at Assassin's Creed Let's Talk or DM us at Assassin's Creed Let's Talk on email Assassin's Creed Let's Talk at gmail.com. It's been a long day. Or Twitter at AC Let's Talk and at James Taylor Quid. You can follow Louise at the Nerdy Archer on Twitter as well, see what she's getting up to. We're all hyped. I really need to read the Magnus Conspiracy right now, but I'm stuck reading the Ming Storm and the Neverending Story because I want to give myself nightmares. So, yeah, we'll have a lot going on, and we'll see you on this week. Creepy.
See you soon.